Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Alset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Alright guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to someone else, okay? Alright, so I wanted to talk to you about something that happened today. Today, early in the morning, I was doing a reading for a woman that I've never met before. And she said to me, as I was shuffling the cards, she was like, Queen, I'm living my best life and blah, blah, blah. And she was just talking a little bit about her life. And she used the term, I'm living my best life 3 times. Now, this is a term that you probably saw hashtagged or on Facebook or on Instagram or on social media a lot over the past like 3 years. I don't see it as much now. But 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I saw it a lot more. I'm not sure when the term actually came out, but I used to see it a lot during that time. Now, I don't know where it exactly came from. I heard it from Oprah. So I don't know if she made it up or if she got it from another spiritual guru. I'm not really sure. But what I am sure about is that when a lot of people use this term, they are not using it properly. So I think that a lot of us, it probably has lost its meaning along the way. So I wanted to tell you what it means because it's still very, very relevant for a spiritual journey. We can all live our best life. So she was saying to me, you know, I'm popping bottles, I'm going to the club with my girls. She's like 26 years old. And she's like, yeah, I'm living my best life. I'm looking good. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And I'm like, okay. Thinking her car is going to be on point. Like, what she need me for? You know, like, I don't think you need me. You sound like you on point. So I looked at her cards and I looked at her. I looked at the cards. I looked at her. And I'm like, wait a minute. The cards aren't indicating to me that she's living her best life. They're actually indicating the opposite. I'm seeing that she's drinking too much. I'm seeing that she has emotional and mental and physical health issues that are going unaddressed, and she's in an abusive relationship. I'm not sure what kind of abuse, but there's some abuse there. So I said to her, I'm confused. You said you're living your best life. So what do you mean by that? And she said, well, you know, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. And I was like, but that's not what that term means. And based on your cards, you're actually the opposite of living your best life. So she asked me to explain a little bit what living your best life really is about. And I told her that I would do a video and explain it because I'm sure other people might be thinking exactly the same thing. When somebody says I'm living my best life, I think people like her think it means I'm having a good time, I'm having fun, I'm going out. It doesn't mean that. Living your best life means you are the best version of yourself. It means you're at your happiest and your healthiest. So immediately, mind, body, and spirit comes to mind. Because whenever you are thinking you want to live your best life, you have to balance out those areas. So mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. When you have all of those areas going in a balanced way, and mind you, nobody's going to be perfect, but if you're in an abusive relationship, your spiritual and mental and emotional health is not at its best. If you are dealing with emotion or not dealing with your emotional health issues, then your emotional aspect, again, that's a double strike in that area. So you can say, I'm working on living my best life. I'm working on being the best version of myself, because that's probably the truest. That's probably closest to the truth for most of us. Most of us usually are really good in certain areas and struggling in other ones. Like I've always been really good with spiritual things. Those things come easy to me. Doing craft, doing law of attraction, that stuff comes really fast, really easy. Third eye, reading cards, that's real easy for me. It wasn't easy at first, but over time, the more I worked on it, the easier it got. So mentally and spiritually, I've always been really strong. My teachers would always criticize me as a young girl and say that I wasn't putting forth enough effort. And my mom would say, but she has A's and B's. How is she not putting forth enough effort? And my teachers would say, that's easy for her. It's easy for her to bust out A's and B's. She could be at the top of her class valedictorian if she put in some effort. So it's easy, that the mental part, the spiritual part have been easy for me, but physically and emotionally have been my struggle. So different people have struggles in different areas. Like, for example, I had to teach myself, and I'm getting really good at it now, but I had to teach myself emotional intelligence. I'm getting good at it, but I'm not done. I still got a long way to go because I still stumble in a lot of places. Physically speaking, I'm supposed to exercise 3 times a week, at least. Yeah, some weeks are much better than others. So those 2 areas for me have been a struggle. But I have other friends who don't struggle in those areas, but they struggle spiritually and mentally. I have a friend who's dyslexic. So he has a hard time reading and doing, research kind of things. He hates that kind of stuff. So he's always struggling in that area, but he has the most perfect body I've ever seen. Like he works out like a beast. So physically is not difficult for him, but the educational, intellectual part is difficult for him. So usually most of us have problems in 1 or 2 areas, and we can be balanced in all 3 or all 4, depending upon what you call them. We can be balanced in all 4, and that's what's called living your best life. When you are balanced in all 4 and you are happy and you are the best version of yourself because you're holistic, across the board, all your areas are covered, and you are living whatever your mission and your purpose is on the planet. That's the second part. So you're balanced mind, body, spirit, emotions, and you are living out your divine purpose. So you figured out what it is, number 1. You know what your mission is. You know what your purpose is. You know what it is, and you're living it successfully. So you're going to be happy across the board. If you are emotionally unhinged, unbalanced, and spiritually not really going in the right direction, and haven't figured out your life's purpose, and you're in bad relationships, you're not technically living your best life. Just because you have money to go to the club every weekend and pop bottles with your girlfriends doesn't mean you're living your best life. So after we broke the cards down and we saw the areas, we figured out that every area, mind, body, spirit, emotion, she's struggling in every area. And the going out really is just masking for her. She's using it to mask. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with going out, because I love going out. I love a good stiff drink too. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But what I'm saying is that in her particular case, she's using it to mask all of the other problems that she's not addressing. So I wanted to put that out there because, number 1, not only do I want you to use the term correctly, of course I want everybody to use terms correctly, but also I want people to see that you can live your best life. It is possible, and how to do it. So basically, just look at the areas of your life where there is imbalance and work on those areas. Work on balancing out those areas. The areas that are strong, keep those areas going. Keep those manifestations going. And the areas that are weak, try to strengthen those areas by doing things that you know that you need to do. Like in her case, she needs to see a therapist. She needs to work with someone else, or work with us, or she can work with me, or whatever she wants to do. She has to work with someone and get her mental health under control. Okay? And the other issues that we saw in every part, they need to come under control. And then she needs to figure out what her purpose is, because she was telling me that she wasn't really ready to step into her purpose. So again, you're not really living your best life until you're doing all of those things. So I just wanted to put that out there for you, because if you have an imbalance somewhere and you start to work on it now, in 10 I don't know, 10 months, a couple years, you probably will have come to that point. Likewise, if you start going on a soul's journey, all of these things can come together nicely. Nobody's ever going to live a perfect life, because perfection is a myth. But you can live your best life. You can be living out your mission, your purpose, and you can be balanced mind, body, and spirit, and emotions. So it's really up to you as a person to make it happen. But don't kid yourself and think that just because you got a couple extra dollars than you had last year, then now you're living your best life. No, you got a little ways to go, but it is an obtainable goal. So keep going towards your goal. Always be honest with yourself, guys. Know where you are and know where you aren't. Even if you don't tell nobody else, you at least should be aware. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you want to get your cards read, you should email me and I will give you an appointment. If you would like to be one of my patrons on Patreon, underneath this video is going to be all my information. Please stop over at Patreon and check out my page, because on Saturday I'm going to do another episode of the Witch Trials, and the only way you'll be able to see them is if you are a patron. Likewise, what was the other part I was going to say? Oh, all my social media will be underneath this video as well. So if you want to hit me up on social media, feel free. I don't have a lot of time for chatting, but I am often answering messages on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all your kind and loving comments in the comment section. It is definitely the highlight of my day to talk to you guys. All right? See you later.